Our destination?
Couch critics.
Let's go for a ride.
Welcome to Girls Trip. It's Wednesday. We've made it halfway through, but hopefully it's been a good week and you're maybe not rushing because we're trying to bring about a summer state of mind this week, right? We all get to slow down, enjoy the little things a little bit more. So hopefully you're feeling that. And if not,
Get there
right now. Let's get on the same page.
What better way to do that than with my favorite segment that we have? Other than when there's something edible involved.
Yes.
This is definitely my favorite segment.
Yes, I love doing this too. And you're who's kicking us off?
I'm going to kick us off.
Rebecca's going to kick us off today.
So for those of you who haven't joined us before, I actually have, is this our third couch critics?
Wow.
I know. Where Rebecca covers a podcast. I cover a book, and Joy covers some sort of movie, documentary, coffee, something to watch, and a beverage you should have while you watch it. No. This time we tried to pick something that maybe had a summer vibe,
thread through it.
maybe that would take you into a summer state of mind. And everyone has had interesting reactions as we've talked about doing this.
When we get to mine, it was the first thing that came to
mind.
mind.
So there you go.
I had to do some deep diving.
You were on a research project.
I was search different words of the summer. What did I do?
Yeah, I don't really know what you're doing.
So we're going to be on a really great ride together. A road trip, actually. So I'm going to talk about two of them. One of them is just super short, really fun. So it's called the Family Road Trip Trivia Podcast.
Aww,
I know.
That's so cute.
Did you make this with your family when you were on your last road trip?
No, I literally just found this. So I was like, ooh. This woman does not want to disclose her last name. I can't find it anywhere, but her name is Brittany, and she has her best friend Meredith on.
Aww,
okay.
But if you look up Family Road Trip Trivia Podcast, it's there. She literally has like 20-minute podcasts, and it's all just trivia with answers.
That would be Miles' dream.
Like, it's so fun. She has like scary animal facts or like 80s and 90s. It's like different movies that come out, and people will ask her to like do it, and she like every week will just come out with like a new trivia. So
like
I was like,
Jeopardy on wheels.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's like, I thought of it. I was like, all right, summer. So when you're on your road trip or when you're just going to the beach, you're going to be listening to this.
Yes.
Exactly.
Great
I just thought it was a really fun thing, even for myself, to like distract myself if I'm like in traffic and I'm like, okay,
thinking.
let's do this.
I used to have to like grab a stack of Trivial Pursuit cards and bring them in the car to read to Miles.
Yep.
And I hate trivia. Like not like that I don't enjoy it. I hate having to like think about stuff that I'm like, I don't have a clue what that answer is.
Okay.
He loves the challenge of it. Like he really tries to reason it out. He'll find something that even if it's like indirectly related, he's like, well, I know this to be true. And how can I like orient myself and give an educated guess?
But I would need like options of answers. Like if you don't know, you don't know. It's not like you could figure it out.
Yeah.
Like
well, he tries.
Yeah. I mean, I think there is some sort of fun to that if you are in the like if you're in traffic or whatever and you're just like, I need to pass the time, like let's try to get my brain going. But they have so many different, I mean, she's on episode 200 and something.
Oh wow.
So there are quite a bit of these, and they're just, one of them is like totally random trivia, rom-com trivia, so you can pick all of them.
I never would have even thought to look that up. So that's so cute.
I forget how I got onto it, but it was like summer, just like summer fun. And
super cute.
You bring so much value to our channel.
She's like, I know.
So that was like the curveball one. I was like, maybe this will fly. And the other one, which is about an hour and a half long. Have you ever heard of Shawn Johnson, Olympic gold medalist, all that fun stuff?
I follow her on Instagram.
Okay,
She's so
perfect.
cute.
I was like, why do
Her
I
and
know
her
that
husband
name?
have a podcast called Couple Things with Shawn and Andrew. And I just, again, I don't really listen to it, but every so often I'm like, oh, here's a clip of it or whatever. And they happen to be interviewing the Penavega family, Carlos and Alexa. And I was like, I love them. So I thought it was just a really good, it's lengthy. So if you're in the car, again, I always listen to stuff while I'm in the car. it's not necessarily summary, but it's just like they're talking about their family. At one point, Alexa and Carlos lived on a boat, so they're talking about the stuff they did with their family, the struggles they've gone through.
They are perpetually living in summer in the Penavengas.
Yes.
They're always so tan.
There's the vibe, yeah.
They're always in bathing suits and sand.
Well, they lived in Maui for like a bit.
Yeah,
Did they really?
I feel like it's either
2 years,
Maui or California or a boat.
Whoa.
So they talk kind of about that
cool.
whole like journey with their family.
That's
and
fun.
I think they currently live in Tennessee now, which is again just like out of the blue, kind of took a little trip there. Ended up moving there. So I thought it was just like a really fun thing to listen to. Again, it's clean, fun. I don't they talk about some serious stuff, the stuff they went through with their families, and even about like working through some like turmoil and all of that stuff throughout their life, because they were also child actors and actresses. So I mean, we know her from Spy Kids. So I just thought it was really fun and just something that was pleasant and not like super serious and not like true crime. And like, it's just a really nice thing to listen to. So there's the summer vibes for you for a podcast.
No, I think that's great. I'm gonna look into that. I think because I love both of those couples.
Yeah,
so that
they
sounds
do
like a fun podcast.
a lot of cool different episodes. Shawn and Andrew. Like again, they have 3 kids. 3 kids now. Yeah, 3 kids right now. So I mean, everything between kids and then marriage and just vacation, all the fun stuff. So
have you ever seen they always put out those videos on Instagram where they will try to recreate some sort of like stunt
that they've
people
seen
are doing
Yes,
that they've
that's
seen
really
people
fun.
I haven't
do
seen.
some sort of
That
like
looks fun.
physical challenge.
Yeah.
And she's so tiny and he's so
She's
huge
so little.
yeah.
that it's hysterical.
I have
like,
seen her
just
try to like
see
reach
them
things
Yeah.
on the top shelf, and she just can't do it.
Here's
Yeah.
the
I
stool.
don't
So
know how
cute.
she's carried
She's
such
adorable.
large
And her
children.
youngest son is like half the size of her, and
yeah,
he's like 2 years.
he's
I don't know.
huge.
I remember being in high school and boys posting pictures of her on their MySpace wall.
Oh yeah,
And being like,
she was
the dream.
That is
like I
funny.
vividly
2008
remember
Olympics.
that.
I remember watching it.
Yep.
I was like,
Vividly remember that.
That's so great.
Heartthrob.
heartthrob.
Short heartthrob.
All right. Well, I feel like I need a road trip now.
I know we need an excuse to listen to this trivia.
Yeah.
Because
let's
me
do it.
making up trivia is not as fun as already.
Well, I feel like it's fun though.
It's pretty fun.
It is.
It's pretty
entertaining.
fun. I like that. Okay. Up next. I very much stayed in my lane for this. For several reasons. So last time I went very much out of my lane with my book because we were looking for something specific to those topics we were talking
Yeah,
about.
you tried finding something like fresh.
Joy hasn't
we
recovered from that.
It was great. It was great. It was
But one, I feel like my pleasure reading time is very small. So if I have to read a book for homework, I'm going to choose something that I want to read.
good.
And did I wait a little last minute and just have to go to my bookshelf and see what can I pull out to read right
That's
now?
crazy though that she's
Read
like.
this in 12 minutes.
I have options though of books I haven't read that are on her bookshelf. Like,
Yes. I always like to keep a few extra. However, I was going through them, and on the back, where it gives a little description, the first sentence is literally, "In the height of summer, the guests descended." So I was like,
done. Guest descended.
Done. Height
Okay.
of summer. So this is a book I'm pretty sure. I'm trying to think of how this ended up on my bookshelf, but I'm pretty sure a friend gave this to me. Maybe Danielle. Danielle, was it you? This is by Louise Penny, who I have never read before. So this is a first-time author for me. And it's called A Rule Against Murder. And I feel like I would give it a 7 overall. Solid 7.
For like
Solid
a summer
7.
read, so it wasn't terrible, but you're not like, ooh.
Yeah, I feel like if someone gave me another book by her, I would read it.
Okay.
Because I didn't think it was bad.
Yeah.
But she's not necessarily someone I want to seek out, like that I would buy for myself or like put on a list necessarily. I don't even know. I probably should have looked up some pronunciations.
I think you should just go for it.
I do too. Yeah.
That's why we're here.
So the protagonist of the book is Chief Inspector Armand Gamache.
Yeah.
That's how you said it when you read it.
I'm so sorry. It is how I said it in my
And
head
there you
when I
never
read
go
it.
with
Gamache. And he's definitely supposed to be a like Hercule Poirot type of character, like
the
Sherlock
trope, but
that
like,
kind of trope.
okay,
However,
okay.
much healthier. He doesn't have any drug addictions. He's in a healthy, happy marriage.
Okay.
He has
Doesn't have any
good
problems.
relationships with his adult children.
Okay.
Okay, so Sherlock without the trauma.
Yes.
Okay, got
yes.
it.
But like very well respected and renowned for his
Okay.
detective
Okay.
skills. I guess the parts that I had trouble with is I'm just not cultured enough for this book. This takes place in like French Canada,
Okay.
which I know nothing about.
Okay.
So one, there's a lot of like French phrases and like, you know, they'll start a sentence in French kind of woven throughout the book,
Okay.
which just kind of annoys me because I don't know what you're saying. Like
Okay.
I can figure it out from context,
Yeah.
but it just like makes it very stop and go as
Okay.
I'm
For your brain
reading
too,
it. So I
nothing.
don't love that.
Nice.
Yeah, I guess it's different if it's a book written for American readers. With you can still have all of those sayings or quotes or whatever it is with an explanation next to it if it's written for an American reader.
it is definitely written for an American reader, but I just don't enjoy that.
Yeah.
You know, I'd rather just be able to read fluidly, whereas
Yeah.
just I kept having to be like, I think I know what they're saying here, but I'm not exactly
Yeah.
sure. And I was like, I don't want to keep looking this up on my phone type
Yeah.
of thing, you know? And I definitely I just don't know anything about like the history
Okay.
of Canada. And that factors in a lot,
lot.
here.
Oh,
Apparently
interesting.
there's like, I don't know, people feel a certain way about French speaking Canadians versus English speaking Canadians. So there's a little bit of like that sort of tension amongst the characters. And I'm like, I don't really understand
Why that's
what
there.
this means here to these
Yeah.
people. And then history of the land itself and
a
people who
historical
settled there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so more so than I'm used to in this type of book. And I was just like, this is not really like adding a lot for me because I don't know what it's supposed to imply.
Okay.
And then I thought that there was, in a weird way, it kind of felt like slightly fairy tale-ish maybe, and that's probably giving you the wrong impression, but I didn't feel like grounded in this world. If that makes sense.
Maybe because you already felt disconnected because you didn't know what was going on, so it almost felt like you were creating this like
yeah, it
little area.
didn't feel real. Like it felt like this is a little bit of a made up world that we're living in. I mean, it's in this very, very specific picturesque setting.
Is there anything actually like
No.
otherworldly about it?
There's
Okay.
nothing otherworldly about it. It's just sort of, I think it's partly the setting. You're in this like ancient log cabin, this massive one that was turned into a B&B that is like in the forests of Quebec and on this like really remote lake that is very difficult to get to. So you feel like you're in this like woodland area and it's so hot and there's no air conditioning. And so you just sort of like feel transported. But then in the way that all the characters talk to each other, you're like, people don't talk like that to each other.
It also feels like
Like no one could give a straight answer to anything. Everything was like
talking in riddles.
this sort of, talking in riddles or this like thinly veiled threat. And so everything, you feel like you're having to decode all
my
the
gosh, this is a
interaction,
lot.
but and there's a lot of characters in here. So I was just like, could someone just say something direct? Like he asked what you had for breakfast. Just answer the question. And he is like kind of known for just sort of like quoting poetry. And listen, I literally have a master's in poetry, but I'm like, I don't want that in my murder book. Like it just felt a little too lofty.
Okay.
Maybe is the word. But I thought it was, good character development. You're very much invested in the characters. I don't know if this is like a Louise Penny thing. I don't know if it's kind of like a French Canadian thing, but some of the descriptions of the characters were like kind of hilarious. I don't know if they were meant to be, but it was like, his face was excruciatingly ugly. Like those are the types of descriptions.
and you're like, ooh, okay.
Boom, roasted.
Yeah.
Oh my
They were
God.
like, and like this one
Okay.
character they're describing as a woman and like basically saying like she's so ugly she almost becomes attractive.
That's Joy. That's what Joy's likes in her guys. In her.
So a lot of
So ugly. She's like,
I'm kind of into it.
you're like, this is kind of, I like it.
There's an Office episode where he goes, oh no, it's Daryl from The Office, and he's had so many drinks to the point where he goes, Meredith, she's kind of cute. I've never noticed it before.
There it is.
yes. So a lot of those types of
Okay.
descriptions. So every person kind of felt like a caricature rather than like a real person.
Okay, got it.
So again, very interesting. Things are moving along. It's not only a whodunit, but the interesting element that I don't find in a lot of books like this is that you're also trying to figure out how the murder was committed, which is a very central part to it. Is like, how could this? They know what happened, but how could someone have orchestrated this? They couldn't figure out, which was interesting. But yeah, just a couple of like threads that the author made seem really important that like didn't. But at the end, when you like figure it all out, you're like, what? Like, who even cares about that? Like that didn't need, if that was taken out of the book, it wouldn't have affected the plot whatsoever. And I was like, too much time was put towards creating this thread that like I couldn't care less about.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I feel like solid 7. Like it was good writing. It had interest. It kept moving. I read it in like a day. But just not something that I
can't.
loved.
I don't even know.
Why? Like how?
I don't know.
I wish I was blessed.
A chapter.
Okay.
Maybe.
So as you're talking, I'm thinking about the book I just finished 4 nights ago, The Mother-in-Law, which I showed you guys
That's
when
Sally Hepworth.
which I was my mother-in-law gave to me when I moved into my house, which was 3 months ago, and I just finished it. But you were making me think of it when you were going through. So did you read that one yet or no?
Yeah.
I liked that one a lot.
I liked it too. I gave it to Mom, and then she
you
gave it to you.
Mom. I really
was
like
fabulous.
that. Yeah. So I'm curious to know though, were you did you figure it out by the end of it, or was like there's no way to figure it out until you got there?
No, I didn't figure it out, and which I thought they did a really good job at misdirection of not, you weren't really focusing on this person, so you were kind of surprised. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like other types of books like this, I'm really empathizing and being like, wow, like if this really happened, and this just sort of felt like nothing about this feels real.
It still
So
sounds
I
like
was
a
just
fairy
like,
tale,
okay, he's the one who did it. And even the characters kind of felt bad for the murderer.
Spoiler, it's a he.
Yeah,
Sorry if you wanted to read it.
Sorry. And you're just like, okay,
Yeah.
he just killed somebody, but okay.
Yeah.
If we want to feel bad for him. So yeah, but I'd be curious if you speak French or if you are from Canada and you have read this or decide to read it, let me know. Maybe it hits different.
Yeah.
If that's the case, but not bad.
Okay.
I'm happy to have spent my time.
All right.
Great.
All right. On to what we should watch.
Moving
really
right
what we
along.
wanna-
I'm going to do my best to not look at my notes because I really, really want to just let it flow. However, there's a lot going on. Okay. So I chose the documentary FYRE, The Greatest Party to Never Happen. I think that's the subtitle. So you never saw it.
No.
You saw the documentary. Okay. So the FYRE Festival took place
I know of it, but
Or didn't take place.
Yeah. Well,
actually,
basically took place, but really didn't in 2017. So the essence of the whole thing is about Billy McFarland, this entrepreneur, and Ja Rule. Okay. So I'll read just this bit just to help get me going. So in 2016, Billy McFarland and Ja Rule conceived the FYRE Festival as a promotional event for their talent booking app, FYRE. FYRE. Okay. So FYRE is supposed to be this Uber of booking talent, essentially, which didn't exist before 2016, essentially. So someone could literally go on the website or go on the FYRE app if you had the money to like book a Ja Rule for your
Right.
birthday party if you wanted to. Like FYRE created this, and Billy McFarland was kind of the brains behind it. And it's funny because people are calling him like he just can sell you anything. He's just a big thinker and a big dreamer and like the entrepreneur of our generation. They're saying that even after knowing
I know
How terrible.
he's basically a con
and
man.
I was like, ooh, like not to get too on the sidelines, but I was like, there is a fine line between like entrepreneur and like just a hustler that is you can just step over so quickly without even trying so hard. Anyway, so him and Ja Rule are launching this app, and it's going to be like the next biggest thing and supposed to be like this $1 billion app. Like that's what they're hoping for. And they're having a team meeting one day, and someone says, well, how do we like promote this? And one of like the team members says, let's throw like a banger music festival. Like let's make this like a really cool thing. So Billy, like this idea like seeps into his brain and then just spreads. Like the ideas of what this could be just go so off the rails that people can't even like pull him back in because he's so his decision now is to, again, a lot of what I'm going to say, we go back and realize that's inaccurate, but he decides to buy an island, okay? To buy Pablo Escobar's island, okay?
Red flag number 1.
Yeah.
So he wants to buy Pablo Escobar's island and have this massive music festival with 10,000 people. That's what he wants to do. So the team is like, okay, like you're the man, right? Like, let's do this. Ja Rule is your partner. You guys got money. Like, let's go. So they go to the island, and their marketing team, they get the best of the best, the best of the best. Like the marketing teams of the companies are going to FYRE and pitching themselves to FYRE. Like, you want us to be your marketing agency. And so they finally pick this one agency that is the best of the best. And they tell them, you should go to the island. We're going to book the top models, like top supermodels in the world to all be here at one time. And they're going to be this commercial, essentially. And they're like,
Yeah.
good for us. Let's go.
Amazing.
And that's exactly what happened. So they take all the models and they go to the island, and they have their film crew and their production crew. There's not even internet on the island, but
There's no infrastructure whatsoever.
So where they're at right now, this Pablo's island, this place is more of a like, yeah, there's like a house, right? Like there's like it headquarters can go there, but that's it and nothing else. But there is no Wi-Fi, there's no internet. So they're bringing in whatever they have to do to make it happen there and then take it back home. They're editing there though, and then they go back home and then they release it. So as they're there, things are starting to get a little bit crazy. Like everyone's drinking 24/7. Like it's a massive party. But except the production crew is like, no, we're going to make a really awesome video. We're going to make a great commercial. But everyone else who's in charge of anything is just, it's a crap show. It's just, they have so much money. It's just so bad. Anyway, so the models are doing their thing, you know, but then like there's some behind the scene footage of like at night. And like Ja Rule is really weird with the models. Like, oh, let's keep things going with these like these shots. And the girls are like, the production team's not even here. What are you talking about? Like, I'm not getting in the water with you. And she's like, what? And you just see like this weird. So off the bat, you're like, I don't like these people. You're like, this is really weird. But you got who are these models? So you got Hailey Bieber, who was Hailey Baldwin at the time. Bella Hadid, she was there, like all the top of the line models. So while they're there, they're telling these models, make sure you're taking photos and posting them to your Instagram
about this.
Yeah. Okay. And they're making crazy amounts of money just from posting stuff. So, and as they're creating the commercial, they're then sending little snippets to like Kendall Jenner and being like, put this out there. And it was some insane amount of money that they gave her for one post, like something insane, like with no idea of what she's actually posting,
Just what she's promoting.
What she's promoting. So that's all going on behind the scenes. And now they're starting to realize, oh, this could be a big deal. So they have 10,000 tickets, something like that. They launch the commercial. They sell out in 48 hours. They sell out in 48 hours. So now we shift gears to the professionals who are talking about like what it takes to build a music festival of this caliber. And
because these are not $20 tickets. These are
thousands and thousands of dollars.
Some of them like
Well,
and
this
20
is a
grand.
long thing. How long was this?
Well,
music
that's what I'm
festival?
gonna.
Okay.
That's what I'm gonna get into.
Yeah.
So these are thousands and thousands of dollars per ticket, but you are basically paying for triple that if you want like a nice place to stay in, right? But even the baseline, thousands of dollars for like a luxury tent. That's what they were calling it. So glamping, essentially, right?
Yeah.
But like the drawings that they show are these like gorgeous tents, and like, you know, you're in the Bahamas and it's amazing. You're laying on the beach. It's awesome. So people are buying this stuff. They're buying villas. That's what the options are.
Villas and yurts and
the $10,000 villas, like $50,000 like experience that you can have, like insane stuff, and people are buying it. And now we switch gears over to like what this actually means. And they bring in professionals. They like bring in the people who are making the blueprints. And the one guy comes on the dock and he's like, maybe if they had a year, this could happen. Maybe if they had a year. They had like 6 to 8 weeks.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
What? And they're telling
That's
them
ridiculous.
this, and they're telling them this, that like, this is like, it's cool that you want to put out like pictures of hot models, but like you have to think about like toilets.
right.
Yeah.
Like there's
Like,
nothing.
let's
There's no
put
running
in.
water.
So
there's
now one of the crazy parts, which you definitely don't remember, but what happened was Pablo Escobar, obviously, like, he's dead, I think. I'm pretty sure. Pablo Escobar is not owning this island anymore. He just had it at one point. The person who owns the island now is very much not into using his name because it's associated with like the cartel and drug lords, and he doesn't want that.
Yes.
So he is telling Billy, first of all, Billy didn't buy the island.
Yeah.
He was using the island.
Right,
And he
right.
tells
Now I
Billy,
remember.
we don't want you using Pablo Escobar's name. Like, we're trying to have a much different reputation. Like, the first line in the commercial is, come to Pablo Escobar's island. So they pull his contract, essentially, and they're like, you can't use our island. So now they don't even have an island to send people to.
But they're sending people.
So they find something else, which is an island technically, but it's like weird. Like, they already have some like concrete development on it, so it's like sand, but then they have to bring in sand actually to cover the concrete. Oh my gosh. Crazy. So now we're talking, they are millions and millions and millions of dollars deep in this.
and they've raised tens of millions.
They've raised tens of millions
to do it.
But the time frame is impossible, essentially, to build actual buildings.
To build a city.
To build a city.
They
That's
needed
what
to build a
do.
city.
And they're telling people, and the social media marketing team is going off the chain with all of, they're incredible. And they come up with this
Doing their
idea.
job.
They're doing their job, yeah. They come up with this idea to basically have all the influencers. They send this orange square to the influencers and say, just post this orange square and say like hashtag FYRE Festival 2017.
Yeah.
We'll see you there, something like that. And these influencers get crazy amounts of money just by posting it. But then the influencers, like Billy calls up their guys at one point and is like, no, the influencers are going to be here for free. Like, they're not going to pay anything. So they're going to get houses. So he's like, okay. So the paying customers that are coming here, we have nothing for them.
yeah.
People that are coming for free, they're getting houses. What is going on? What is happening? Okay, so fast forward. It's funny because they take you through to the people who paid the money. They take you from their perspective, and you do kind of roll your eyes a little bit because these people are like,
You're like, I'm 26 and I emptied my life savings to spend
Yeah.
$20,000 to go to this and quit my job.
yeah.
And you're like, what?
Yep.
What?
Yep. You're like, how? You have that side of it, and then you have like the people who
gosh.
it's nothing. It's a drop in
Yeah.
the bucket,
Yeah.
and they don't. So you have those two different sides of the spectrum, and both of it is stupid. You're like, what?
Yeah.
This is making me sick. Actually, to
Yeah.
have people do this. So, but they're like, we're getting in shape. We're going to the gym every day. We're jogging. We like can't wait for this like once in a lifetime party of the decade experience. We're told that the food is going to be by this incredible, well-known caterer, like, you know, sushi every day, like lobster, steak, like that's going to be the experience. It's going to be incredible. All these amazing bands are going to perform. It's just going to be drinking, music, food, beach, party, nonstop for 3 days. So the team has now whittled it down to 6,000 people. There were like 10,000 people. They literally said we couldn't fit 10,000 people on the island. let alone like create some type of housing situation for them.
Right.
So they whittle it down and they come up with, instead of these luxurious yurts, they literally find hurricane relief tents.
like they said FEMA on them.
Oh my gosh. When they were donated.
No, literally, they find hurricane relief tents and just some air mattresses, some like weird looking mattresses with like the plastic on them, like that. That's it. Nothing else in the thing.
Okay.
So
Unbelievable.
now the word is starting to get out. Like they have leaks in their marketing team. Like someone's like definitely a mole, and he's like sending stuff to people who have Twitter accounts that are like, "Don't go to this thing. This thing's gonna be horrible." Everybody's panicking. You should read, like, you gotta watch this documentary. Like there is so much that I can't get into because it's not fit for YouTube, and two, it's actually wild that this was being able to pull off. Like literally the models, the influencers, and the social media
That's
just
all it
lied
was.
to everybody that this was going to be a once in a lifetime experience. Long story short, they get there and it's like anarchy. Like it's absolute chaos.
Oh my gosh.
They get there. The first plane gets there with only a couple hundred people, and all the tents are taken. And that's only the first couple hundred people that are there.
Oh my
they still have
gosh.
other planes that are coming in like later on in the weekend. And the guys who are in charge of it are like, this is the most ridiculous thing ever. There's no food. There's barely any water. People are going crazy. They have no idea what's happening. We need to cancel this thing. So they cancel it when
But people are
But you're
already there.
Well, how do you
People
get
are
off the island?
So they're at the Bahamas. It's so sad. Like there's so much about this that like the workers that have been working 24/7 for a month and a half, 24/7, no breaks, just going, never getting paid.
Never get paid.
Like the
Because there's no money.
The Bahamians were told this is going to be a 5-year commitment. We're going to have a festival every year for 5 years. Like this is going to create jobs. This is going to create wealth for the Bahamas. Like if everyone just pulls together, this is going to be awesome. So these workers are giving everything they got.
Oh my gosh.
Nothing
So sad.
in return.
It
So
was very like watching the footage of them on it was almost like Lord of the Flies. Like it was scary because people are like desperate for water and like willing to like hurt people. And then they open these like styrofoam containers that had like a piece of bread and a piece of cheese. Like that's literally what they were eating. And I was like, that's terrifying.
Yeah, it was scary. It was really scary. So they basically evacuate everybody and they bring them all to the airport. They lock them in the airport, like full on, like lock them in,
lock them like chains,
chain them into the airport. And there's no water, no food, no nothing. And they have to, like, again, this is like they were in there from like 6 p.m. probably to like 9 a.m. right, which isn't a good experience at all. But it's like, okay, you're being taken care of, but these some of these kids are just so have never been uncomfortable in their lives. Yeah, and so you're like, they're just like totally
losing
blown. You're like, we're gonna die. You're like, you're not gonna die. You're okay. Yeah. You'll be home in less than 24 hours. But yeah,
wow.
So eventually,
now this is on what show? Hulu?
Well, there's one on Hulu.
There's two.
Okay,
and this one is specifically that I'm talking about is on Netflix, which I do like. This one, I really like the way they did it. There's a lot of focus on the social media aspect, which I just think is so fascinating. Okay. So I really like this one, but definitely watch the other one.
Okay,
too. That's like they come at it from a slightly different angles.
Okay.
So they get back home. The media storm is not kind to.
I mean, it should have been. Yeah.
No, but and there's also like people who are watching this going like, oh, poor like rich kids who spent $10,000 for a 3-day to see Blink 182.
Yeah.
Like, not good. So Billy McFarland eventually gets sent to prison for 6 years because he made bail. He was sentenced, but he made bail. But while he was on bail, he started a different company.
I think I remember hearing
that
this. Yeah,
targeted everyone who signed up with their email for the FYRE Festival. And just started sending them fake things like here's like
buy tickets to the show
to meet Taylor Swift, like backstage, like dinner with like anybody, like things that were just completely untrue. They were just trying to get people to send money to
that
them.
was the nail in the coffin for me. Like when I was watching it, I almost started to empathize with him because he was young. He was like young, in his mid-20s.
Yeah, he was I think 26 when this all started.
So
when
like,
this all started.
You're stupid.
And you're just like, part of me can see how that can happen. Like you're that young and you're being given millions and millions of dollars from these bigwig people who are investing in you, and you've cast this big vision that you probably felt like at some point, like, I literally can't back out of this now. So I just have to like blind faith, keep moving forward and like pray that I can pull something together. But then when it ended with that, and I was just like, my jaw dropped. I was like, oh, you're really nuts. Like he's learned nothing and he doesn't care. Like, I was shocked.
One of his like head guys at one point was saying, I didn't know if this guy was a genius or just totally deluded. I didn't know which it was. And then the guy behind the camera goes, well, what do you think now? He goes, oh, he's a liar. That's what I was like, liar. That was like actually a perfect way to say that. I was like, oh man, it's such an interesting story that only could have happened, I think, in that mid 2010 to 2020 period, because people, I don't think, were as aware of like scams and frauds back then as much as we are really 10 years later, where like our radar is up with that stuff and we almost second guess everything now because that time was a breeding ground for just we're selling you something.
Influencers, all that
like,
was going.
I feel like now that couldn't really happen to that level.
Well, especially because I'm pretty sure that at that point, all those influencers didn't have to specify that it was an ad, that they were getting paid for it.
Now it's
now you have to.
You could put it out there and people really believed like, she's going to be there and she believes in this. So I trust her, you know, they could they didn't have any information and they could just throw out whatever and, you know, and hide behind that. So yeah, definitely different times.
They were saying too that like at many times, like the days leading up to, and obviously nothing was done and nothing was in place, that they were saying, should we pull it? And the one guy was like, weird things just kept happening that kept making us think, well, we should do it. Like out of nowhere, when the caterer backed out, they found another one in like 24 hours, which doesn't happen, you know? And he's like, if we just didn't find these quick fixes, we would have been able to pull the plug. But it was like these crazy things happened. Where we're like, maybe it's a sign. We should do it.
Plus, at that point, they owed all these investors
all this money, right?
That they were supposed to have gotten from ticket sales.
The amount of debt.
The debt was like wild.
Unreal.
Oh, God. And that is the main, I think, reason why he ended up being sentenced, right? Because it had just something with something come fraud or wire fraud or something with the contracts. It had to do with the money,
they were wiring stuff to people, but it wasn't actually making it into their account.
Yeah.
Things like that was happening.
Okay.
But I think this new venture he started was essentially to still put money in his own pocket when he had all this debt. And the judge was like, okay, you're done. No,
you're done.
Such a wild.
So that was 2017.
Story. Yeah.
Now we're in 2025, and it might be old news. I don't know by the time that you guys hear this, but they're saying it's back.
No.
Yeah, have you seen that?
I have not seen that.
No, they are saying that they are doing FYRE Festival again.
Less than 10 years later.
Not Billy, though. Not Billy McFarland. Shut up. No. So at the end of it,
let me see if I can find it.
At the end of the special, it literally says that he is prohibited from, like, he has a court order that he can't be like the owner or like CEO of of a corporation or anything like that.
Wait. Okay, hold on. Ready?
So excited.
This says
real time.
McFarland announced FYRE 2 in February of this year, 2025.
Shut up.
With tickets being sold for the event scheduled from May 30th to June 2nd, 2025.
So it's happening. Like, that's crazy.
Anyone going to buy this?
It was set to take place in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. However, the local government started denying any knowledge of this event and claimed they had not granted any permits. So
I think it's got to be just a joke.
In April, it was postponed due to a lack of permits. But Billy McFarland is the promoter of the festival, but has since announced that the FYRE brand is for sale.
Oh.
Who wants to buy that? Oh, yeah. Up for grabs.
Wow.
Like,
he's like, I have a really great brand.
That apparently this time around, ticket holders received refunds. Who are you that you
would even
bought
purchase
a ticket That's just like you want to be a part of.
That's it.
of something
You know it's
insane.
gonna be bad.
You know it's gonna be bad.
You're just like, yeah, let's just let go.
Yep.
So
of that cash.
overall, as far as documentary goes, because that's what we're doing, we're
Yeah.
Couch Critics. I actually love this documentary.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it was really well done. A lot of people were comparing the festival to it could be a Woodstock, you know, and they were talking about in the documentary like Woodstock, like people died, like it was actual insanity. Like people were strung out, people were dying, people had no water, no food, living in mudslides. Like that's what was going on, and nobody talks about that.
Yeah.
It's just Woodstock. It's this like weird like thing that happened that like we've definitely romanticized, but they were hoping that like as crazy as this is and we have nothing in place, maybe that's what it's gonna be.
Right.
It's like we don't live in that world anymore. Like
Yeah.
people in the 70s were willing to put up with stuff.
We're like, not
the
today.
rich kids in the 2016s were not able to
Well, yeah,
do.
they also didn't get sold a video with models on a yacht
Exactly.
and a beach.
The expectation level
Was very high.
is beyond what is in the realm of even
Yeah.
possibilities. Like those,
Yeah.
like as if those models were gonna like be there
I know.
at this event, and you were gonna get to like hang out with them on
right.
a yacht.
Yeah.
like that was one. Oh yeah, that was one of them. You could have a yacht too.
Yeah.
for that was the $50,000 one.
just get a yacht. Just rent a yacht. Like why not?
What?
Why not?
And there's so much more that I could never get into in 15 minutes. So we definitely go watch it. I give it a 9. I would say 9 out of 10.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you want your mind blown, definitely.
It's
Great
there.
documentary. Well, that's it. That's our podcast.
What a note to end on.
That's our podcast,
Okay.
our book, and our documentary. I am itching to do a film, though.
I know it's been it's been a while.
Maybe our
so-
maybe our next one. I'll do a movie. You guys just can't. So
Okay.
Thank you so much for being with us on Couch Critics. Let us know if you have either watched, read, or listened to any of our suggestions. We will put them all in the description for you. I hope you're enjoying your summer. Happy Wednesday. We'll see you Friday. And most importantly, don't forget to enjoy the view wherever your ride takes you.